It's not always going to be a red flag. It's not always going to be that this person is really bad, they're suffering from an addiction. It might be that this person does tick every box, but something just doesn't feel right in your body and your heart and in your soul. If you're watching this video asking yourself if you should break it off, chances are that there's something that doesn't feel quite right. So I really hope I can help you to think about what aspects you should be considering when making this decision to potentially break it off with the person that you're with. Firstly, ask yourself, is it God who's calling you to this relationship? Are you feeling the fruits of the Holy Spirit? Are you feeling joy and love and peace? Because if God is calling you to something, He will be that voice, that constancy that just makes you feel safe, secure, and okay in this decision. Or are you calling yourself to this relationship? Are you feeling this pit in your stomach, this feeling like it has to work, this feeling that you are working to your own timeline and not necessarily to God's timeline? Because I have been there and I know what it feels like to be so self-reliant and to just be white-knuckling and hoping that this has to work because I was meant to be married at this age, or I was meant to have a family at this age. I really know how this feels to have that kind of societal pressure. Not only that, but to have the pressure that you put on yourself. God's plans are not our plans. His timing is so much better than ours. And we are called in the Bible to not lean on our own understanding, but to truly trust in God and to make our requests known to Him through prayer. So yes, I understand if you are desperate to be married and to start a family, but we have to bring that to prayer and not to project that on the wrong relationship or the wrong person. So ask yourself, is it you? Are you the person who's calling yourself to this relationship because of your own pressure on yourself and your life? Do you actually like this person? Do you like them and love them? Do you will their good, or are you just in love with the idea of them? Because remember, to use someone for the idea of them or for the status of being in a relationship or having a boyfriend or girlfriend is still using that person. It's using them emotionally, and that's not right. Remember that we use things and we love people. So ask yourself if you really genuinely actually love this person. And someone very dear to me once said to me, asked me this question. She said, are you using marital logic in dating? And what she meant by that is, are you rationalizing? Are you thinking this has to work? Because of course we know that marriage is a sacrament and marriage is for life. So you work through it and you constantly are trying to find solution-oriented ways to ensure that the love really works. But when you're dating, you don't need to apply that same logic. You can just discern and you can see the red flags if there are red flags, or see the green flags and move forward in that and be relaxed about it. It doesn't need to be so forced and so hard. So if you really find yourself rationalizing already while you're dating someone, you need to ask yourself, why are you doing that? What are the questions that you're trying to say, or the reasoning and the explanations that you're trying to convince yourself with? Because I really believe that when it's the right person, you will not need to convince yourself and you will not need to convince the other person that you're the right person. It will feel a lot more natural than that. So ask yourself if you're applying marital logic to dating. Here are some examples of rationalizing. Well, he doesn't make me laugh and he doesn't really get my humor, but I can live with that. Or, well, I'm not attracted to him, but I don't want to be vain, so that shouldn't be a reason. These things are important. You're not being vain, you're not being superficial. You deserve to be with someone who does make you laugh and who you are attracted to. And don't forget that. Truly, you will not need to convince yourself or the other person that this is the right person for you. And of course, no one is perfect. And we are all imperfect and flawed. And there will be moments of, well, can I live with that flaw? Can I live with this? Can I live with that imperfection? And yes, you need to ask yourself those questions, but the overarching feeling should be of joy and peace and love. You should be consumed by those kinds of thoughts and emotions rather than panic or anxiety. So really try and listen to your body, listen to how you're feeling, because I do think that the body doesn't lie. There are times when maybe your head can convince you that this is the right person because they tick all the boxes, or your heart can convince you because I really love being in a relationship. But your body doesn't lie. So like if you're finding it difficult to sleep, if your appetite's off, if your health is off, if your skin is breaking out, you need to listen to your body and ask yourself, why is this happening? And really try to see those signs and not to ignore them, because again, when we rely on ourselves and we don't surrender our desires and our lives to God, it creates this self-reliance which is just quite suffocating, and it's just not good for your health or your ability to thrive and flourish. And when we settle, and I hate the term settling because every person is equal in dignity and value, but that doesn't mean that every person is meant to be our spouse. So it's nothing about the other person, but it's about the compatibility between you two. So when we settle, it's almost as if we're saying to God, we do not trust you, God, that you have this plan for us. We do not trust that you have love planned for me. We do not trust that I will actually be in love with my spouse. And this is God we're speaking about. God created us. God knitted us in our mother's womb, and God knows us and loves us. So to settle is to really do an injustice to God and to God's plan, and just try to really trust. And I know it's not easy, and it's something I'm constantly working on. But there's something really beautiful in that. Also, do you feel free in this relationship? Authentic freedom gives us this feeling of joy and this feeling of just knowing that we're making the right decision and that we're making it ourselves freely. It's a lack of freedom in a relationship that gives you this icky feeling of anxiety and stress. If you're feeling enslaved by your own pressures, by your own timeline, that is not freedom, and that's not love, because you can't love if you're not free. So ask yourself, are you working from a place of authentic and genuine freedom? Is your relationship life-giving or life-sucking? So does it give you energy? Does it energize you, or do you just find it draining and exhausting? Because being in this emotional turmoil of uncertainty and doubt is really painful, and it's really going to tire you out. Do you have that constant pit of anxiety in your belly, either when you're with them or you're apart from them, but you're thinking about them? Do you feel anxiety when you think of marrying them? Again, it's normal to feel a bit nervous about taking the next steps to get married to someone, but constant doubt and constant anxiety are not good signs. Are you staying with them out of lust, out of fear of being alone, out of security of being in a relationship, or out of fear of never finding anyone else who will be with you? Again, do not operate out of fear. You need to operate out of freedom. And there is such beauty in operating from that place, a place of abundance and not scarcity. Are you confused about the relationship constantly? Do you go back and forth about whether or not this is the one? And do you feel relieved when they're gone? How does it feel when you're together? How does it feel when you're in a community, when you are with your family and friends? What do they say about you? Do they say that they see you glowing around them? Do they think that this is the right person for you? It's also good to operate within an element of community as well, because no relationship is meant to be isolated. How do you feel when you're around them in public? Do you feel a sense of healthy and good pride, or do you feel embarrassed or a little bit bogged down by this person, or like they're a burden? Because these are not good. You want to be happy and proud to be with this person. So see as well how you feel within community. And it's really important to say that it's not always going to be a red flag. It's not always going to be that this person is really bad. They're suffering from an addiction, or they're struggling with this, or this is just not the right timing for them. It's not always going to be so black and white. It might be that this person does tick every box, but something just doesn't feel right in your body and your heart and in your soul. So take it to prayer. I know it's really difficult to make this decision, but ultimately you want to be free to love the person that God has willed for you, and to also free the other person to love the person that God has willed for them. So I feel for you if you're going through this, but well done for watching this video and just trying to really grapple and wrestle with yourself about this decision. Thanks for listening, and please do subscribe to Salt for more love and dating content under the lens of God and being Christians in this world. And please leave me a comment. I do read them all. So God bless you, and speak soon. Bye.